The 20th and the 21st centuries, dubbed the age of plastics, has seen the rapid increase in the use of plastics for packaging and storage. However, in the last 2 decades, calls for the reuse, recycling and reduction of plastics and a shift to more sustainable alternatives have been intensified. Hello there and welcome to this special edition of Focus On, this year's Trash Talk workshop in Lagos. I'm David Alabi. The Food and Beverage Recycling Alliance, in partnership with the Lagos State Government, plays host to this engagement with stakeholders across the packaging and bottling industry space, among other key actors. The aim is to accelerate the collective responsibility for beating plastic waste pollution by 2025 by reviewing Lagos State's current recycling position and defining next steps to promote a cleaner city.
I think the Trash Talk Summit is a clear testament to the fact that the entire corporate organizations, with sectoral groups like FBRA, are fully committed and are completely prioritizing the sustainability element of what we do. I don't think there could be, yes, there are all of those macro issues, but I think when we all come together like this, invest like this, time, resources, it shows only one thing, that we as a corporate entity and as a corporate group are not deprioritizing. Rather, it shows that we are beginning to pay a whole lot more attention in spite of all the challenges that the entire financial landscape is bringing. Again, the Trash Talk Summit is a clear testament of how the multi-sectoral groups, public and private sector, are all coming together to place more emphasis and more than ever before, prioritize economic and sustainability goals.
With a fast-growing sachet economy in cities like Lagos, which is estimated to generate well over 870,000 tons of plastic waste annually, a rethink and action plans for a sustainable circular economy of plastic touches on the role of regulations for extended producer responsibility.
And so while I understand the business case and the challenge in an economy like ours where people are poor, in which case you want to provide things in the cheapest possible packaging, and you also want to provide it in the most appropriate packaging that are affordable for people from a content and a size standpoint. However, those things are not mutually exclusive to packaging in a safe manner that protects the environment. Businesses need to understand that the easiest way is not necessarily the best way. And it's a long-term thing. Sustainability is about sustainability. And so you could look for what is cheaper today, but it's not sustainable. At the end of the day, it's not enlightened self-interest. It is actually enlightened self-interest to conduct your business in a manner that is sustainable for both you and certainly for the consumers and the world at large. And there are cheaper alternatives. They might be more expensive. I think what we need to do is to figure a way to standardize what those alternatives are so that it doesn't become a competition advantage between competitors for those who are willing to comply with the more appropriate standards.
Lagos State as a state has practiced a linear form of economy where we have waste, and right now, using the concepts of beating plastic pollution, we are moving into a circular economy where nothing is called waste. Everybody's waste is someone's raw material. It only becomes waste when you decide it's waste. So we are advocating recycling, we are advocating reuse, we are advocating reduce, we are advocating remodeling, we are advocating that people start small and medium scale enterprises using this vastly available material in this country, with support from governments to start to keep us in a circular loop whereby nothing escapes us. It would interest you to know that most of these things, including this microphone, is made from exported plastics from developing nations or emerging nations like ours. Why don't we keep it in here and start to teach and help people understand that these things have a life cycle that can last for hundreds of years? I believe that's the role of every responsive government, and Lagos State government is taking that very seriously. We have a plastic policy, we have a climate action plan, and we have even a roundtable set around discussing circular economy. How do we move forward with partnerships like what we're doing here, sustainable partnerships with international bodies, bilateral funders, multinationals, etc.
Nigeria is on a path to complying with waste management, but not just waste management, being responsible to its citizens in terms of sustainability. UNIDO has worked with the government of Nigeria for quite a lot of years, but now we are beginning to see the world talk about the dangers of waste and pollution. And UNIDO has partnered with the government of Nigeria on quite a lot of things in terms of policy, in terms of advocacy, in terms of manufacturing, and working with the industries. So UNIDO, as a UN agency on industrialization, is working with the government and the industries to make sure that the industries are manufacturing, making profit, but manufacturing in a responsible manner.
A progress report highlights the shift in Nigeria's recycling and waste management culture.
For Nigeria, especially coming from a very ground state, I would say that some significant progress has been made. For example, today we have the standard that allows recycling to be infused into your packaging. So that took us a while, but today we have that standard in place. So we also have 2 recycling companies that have been set up that fully closes the loop, meaning that our pets, it's something that companies are beginning to use. And that is a significant shift because that would help to ensure that more recycled contents are infused into virgin plastic packaging for Nigeria. But yes, we have also seen a lot of moving to small sachet economy. That also gives rise to more volume. So as we are making progress, the volume of waste being generated is also increasing. And that's why we have this Trash Summit talk, so that we can co-create and accelerate progress. Because definitely we need the acceleration because our population is increasing, our volume of waste being generated is increasing, the different waste types are also increasing. Before now, the focus is on core PET, which the likes of beverage companies like ours are actually being used. We've seen most of it being recycled today. But then we are moving into flexible packaging, where we see high influx of flexible packaging also being infused. And that's why we have the likes of Lafarge in the room, who also have a solution so that we can accelerate progress on that side.
For sustainability to become a true commercial priority, stakeholders say corporate pledges are not enough.
Your pledges are not enough. We would have to enforce the law where ESG and a certain percentage of your budget must be put and enforced by law into the environment and sustainability. Yes, we love pledges, but it's now time to walk the talk.
Coca-Cola is one of the companies that have made an open commitment. By 2030, we want to see or enable 100% of what we put out there fully collected and recycled. We also have quite a number of FBRA that have made open commitments. And really, that's why taking leadership in this aspect is quite critical. So we can actually say that the first recycling company in Nigeria was part of the funding that FBRA and companies like us has provided. We've seen 3 recycling companies erupt, and that's also to accelerate closing the loop. So not only open commitment, actions, real actions are taken. It took the intervention of the private sector and FBRA to take Nesre on a journey to Austria that actually led to the setup of the recycled PET that we have. Most African countries do not have that. And we believe that that is the game changer, because until we see the off-takers really taking off those things from the collectors, we will not be able to move or accelerate. So today, we have quite a number of them. The capacity is still low in terms of the volume of waste generated. And that is why really this conference or workshop is quite important, because we need policy changes, incentives for people who are in this recycling space, because most times it's really more difficult to recycle than using the virgin. That's why we're all here, to be able to talk and co-create the progress.
And so globally, misleading advertising is one of the most grievous violations of consumer rights. Consumers deserve, actually not just deserve, they have a prerogative and a right to choose what they take. And they cannot exercise that right independently unless the claims are transparent and the disclosures are full. And as such, when we find that consumers are misled, we do not even necessarily need the complaints of the consumer. Once the evidence shows that this is a misleading claim, we reserve the hottest part of penalties for that. With respect to greenwashing, because sustainability is something that you're using to modify the minds of consumers who want to make the world a better place, I would think greenwashing is obviously very vile, and we take that very seriously.
In pushing the needle for critical foundations in the adoption and compliance with recycling standards, outcomes from the two-day workshop are expected to generate a roadmap to beat packaging waste pollution by the year 2025.
One thing I can guarantee is that this is not just going to be a talk shop. This is going to be a do shop. And that is why, again, all stakeholders are in the room. One of the objectives of this summit is to come up with an actionable goal that is time-bound and is actually smart from an objective point of view. So watch this space. We've taken this leap and it is going to be actionable. There are short, immediate and long-term plan that are going to be put in place, and not just put in place, but will be subscribed to by every single stakeholder, and it will be action.
And the climax of discussions encapsulates the belief that the shared enthusiasm across board can be spun into action to pave the way for a greener, cleaner and more eco-conscious Nigeria. This brings us to the end of this Focus on Trash Talk workshop held in Lagos. Many thanks for watching and bye for now. I'm David Alabi.